All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session, first one of 2025. As always, just trying to follow the instructions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes. Let's make sure that we participate and engage. And as always, let's make sure that we start our day off by taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, focused intensity, trust in your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So, if everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat and we will get things underway. All right. Perfect. Appreciate it. All right. So, um, let's dive in. We got some inflation news out of the Eurozone. We'll talk about the yen. We'll take a look at some of the charts that we covered this weekend. And I want to take a look and get a kind of a fresh update on um, some of the stocks and ETFs that we've been watching as well, um, just to see where those are as we really get kicked off on this new year. All right. So let's do it. We got inflation data out of the Eurozone. Um, that's what I need. All right. Inflation data out of the Eurozone rises to 2%. Annual inflation rate in the Euro area accelerated for the third straight month to 2.4%, the highest rate since July, compared to 2.2 in November, and in line with the market expectation. Preliminary estimates show. All right, so that data will be coming out. Is upcoming, but the expectation is inflation is rising again. All right. Prices rebound on energy and inflation accelerated for services, but steadied in food, alcohol, and tobacco. Now, that also makes sense with some of your the United States calling for cancer warnings on your alcohol bottles and liquor brands. So you're seeing some of your alcohol stocks um, take a hit. So kind of balance that with that insight there. Um, so that's out of the Eurozone. The Japanese yen, as prices continue to weaken, the yen falls past 158 per dollar on Tuesday, making its lowest point in over 5 months, prompting renewed verbal intervention from top Japanese officials. Finance Minister Katsunobu Kato reiterated his warning against speculative one-sided moves in the currency, signaling the government's readiness to take action if excessive volatility persists. Right? Um, they're just trying to slow things down. Just trying to slow things down. Comments came after the end, weakened toward 160 per dollar, which had previously triggered an intervention 6 months ago. The yen has been under pressure recently amid growing uncertainty regarding the timing of the interest rate hikes by the Bank of Japan. BOJ Governor Ueda emphasized that any policy adjustments would depend on economic, price, and financial conditions, highlighting the importance of sustainable wage growth. Right? We talked about this last month and in November, I believe, where expecting that they don't make any changes until after the wage negotiations that kick off in February and kind of wrap up toward the end of the first quarter. So we're looking at continued yen weakness. So we could see continued verbal intervention, right? Potentially intervention at some point. But I don't see any of that coming into a reality until we get to that 160 or 162 uh, range for the dollar yen. So, but they're chirping to slow things down. So we'll see where things go, right? But the central bank also stressed the need for caution, given both domestic and global uncertainties. They're also concerned or are uncertain about the policies for Donald Trump. So they're being cautious there to see what happens as he comes into office in those first 30, 60, 90 days. Right. So that's the Japanese yen. Ba, 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 ba. China. The China foreign exchange reserves fell to 3.2 trillion in December, the lowest in 8 months. Less holding of foreign currency, which means more holding, more yuan. 3.26 trillion in November, and below expectation of 3.25 trillion. The drop comes amid strengthening dollar. The yuan weakened by 1.2%, while the dollar gained 2.6% against major currencies. Meanwhile, gold reserves were at 73.29 million fine troy ounces, slightly higher than the 72.96 million troy ounces in the previous month. However, the value declined 191.3 billion from 193.4 billion. And that's in line with the drop in gold prices, right? So we'll continue to monitor China as things go along as well, as looking to see if things line up for their um, stimulus to come through. So we'll continue to monitor things out of China. So that is there. That's all from that side of the house. Um, Stock news on Nvidia. They announced a gaming chip, which yesterday we'll look at this chart as well. Saw a gap up. Price moved to the upside a bit. So that was a good news in the market, right? Good news in the market for Nvidia, but you also then had the United States blacklist China for that chip as well. So still that back and forth battle happening with the U.S. and China, but it was still good news for Nvidia. So I'll drop this link in the chat. You guys can check that out if you haven't already. There's that. Over to the calendar. Blah, 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 blah. Yesterday, German preliminary CPI came in above expectation, right? Largest player in the Eurozone. You had retail sales out of for the Swissy below expectation, decent amount below expectation. Um, Final services PMI for the dollar came in below expectation as well. Today, CPI data for the Swissy came in line. Then you have your preliminary CPI data for France. Construction PMI came in below expectation. Later on today, we have our ISM services PMI for the dollar and JOLTS job openings. Right. So insightful there on the continue to monitor the path of the Fed and what they plan to do this year, really, and watching how those decisions play out. Aussie CPI at 7:30 this evening. And then tomorrow we have tons of speakers starting to come to the microphone. Got ADP non-farm employment change, unemployment claims. Uh, FOMC member Waller speaking at 8:30. Meeting minutes at 2 o'clock tomorrow. FOMC meeting minutes, right? Give us insight on what that conversation looked like. and that could also give us more insight in the trajectory of interest rate decisions going forward for this year, as we expect them to kind of scale back on the number of rate cuts. Previously was 100 basis points. Now they're scaled back to around 50 or so. So we'll monitor that development and see how that impacts the dollar and the markets overall. Retail sales for the Australian dollar, and then China CPI and PPI tomorrow, Wednesday night. Yep, tomorrow night. And then you have like tons of central bank speakers coming to microphone on Thursday. And then on Friday, we got our run of the mill first Friday of the month. Employment change, unemployment rate for Canada, average hourly earnings, non farm payroll, unemployment rate, and preliminary U of M consumer sentiment expectations. All right. So that is it for the calendar and where we are there. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing well, man. Glad to be here. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. Good morning, everybody.
Anything top of mind for you, bro? Anything you've seen over the weekend or the last couple of days, this morning that
Oh man,
caught your eye, piqued your
man,
interest?
just right out the gate, kind of alluding what you're talking about. My whole thing for this first part of January is to pay attention to right inflation, right globally. You see some things. You see what was front page on Trading Economics this morning, but we've got the PPI data for the United States on January 14th. PPI, core PPI, and then CPI on the 15th, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Just continue to
Mhm.
watch that because I know, you know, just following what investors are thinking, straight out the gate, listening to, a lot of the pundits, investors on TV, for that outlook for 2025, uh, a rise in inflation could wreck the whole thing, right? So a lot
Mhm.
of them, kept alluding back to 2022, when interest rates first rose, started that was the first point where they started to rise. And I think it was something like what was it, inflation? That's when it had surged to like 8.5% or something like that. But that was the first time when, interest rates went north, and that's when they lost money, right? Stock market lost money. You lost money in stocks and I think bonds, right?
Mhm.
In 2022. So just, summarizing everything that I heard from, I listened to a lot of like investors because everybody's giving their outlook, right, for 2025, and that's the main concern. So I feel like it has to be, our main concern is paying attention to what happens with uh, inflation and the sentiment around that, right, and
Yeah.
how the market reacts to that data uh, with the new, president coming in and the policies that are seen as being inflationary. So is what they're saying and what they plan to do versus what can actually get done. They're going to have to go through, Congress and things like that for a lot of the policy measures, but we'll see. So just taking my time, right, and trying to buy at good levels. I
Yes.
think when you're really trying to simplify things in regards to your approach to the markets, it really oftentimes just boils down to being patient and getting in at solid levels, and then taking a ride. So that's my main thing to start the year. I was watching the one show last night, and it was I forget what the length of time for the history is, but typically a good sign is if you see if the stock market, that first full week of the year, first 5 days, business days of the year, uh, if it flashes positive, right, positive gains, then it's been historically a pretty good outlook for the direction in which stocks are going to head for the year. You
Say that
know,
one more time.
just the first 5 days right out of the gate, that first full week
Mm.
of the
Hmm.
market has been, I forgot the guy's name that tracks it, but has been a good. barometer in regards to what direction the market might head for the rest of the year.
Okay.
So that one really caught my attention because I'm interested to see is how, because he didn't go into the details, of how that could change with a new president, new cabinet coming in. It's an election year, so interested to see if that changes anything in regards to that. So, but I thought that was quite
Mm,
interesting though, to be able to track something historically, something as simple as, hey, did the market make gains first 5 days of the new business year versus it not making those gains, and historically how that has been a good barometer overall for which direction the market is going to head for the year.
okay. All right. Well, we'll take note of that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Definitely. Appreciate that, bro.
Yep.
Team, you guys got anything top of mind for you from a fundamental perspective or any questions regarding what we covered there? No? All right. Let's dive into some charts. Um, to look at the US dollar first. We see, right? We broke this key level here and here. Well, this level was here. I adjusted it down to this new swing low that we have here. But press to the upside, coming back to retest those levels. We got stochastic pushing back down out of that sell zone. We'll look to see where the dollar goes from here, right? Do we get more retracement back to 107.023, or do we see prices hold here and press back to the upside, right? So as we move through this week, kind of to Benny's point, right, we'll see where the dollar goes and the impact of some of the details when it comes to FOMC decisions as we lead into CPI data next week, um, where things could be headed. All right. So stalling right now at this 107,729. I'm curious to see if we get back to this 107,023 level. But that's where we are from a daily time frame on the dollar down to the four. This is what that looks like there. We got to the matching D extension, getting a retracement. There. So we'll watch and see, right? The other possibility here is potential head and shoulders pattern. If we get price to come down a little bit further, stall, give us a pullback, and then a continuation down. Um, so we'll watch the developments here and just see how prices move overall. All right. If we get something, oh, that's a crown pattern. Sorry. Um, wrong thing. No, there we go. All right. Long angle there, but potential head and shoulders pattern there if we get price to give a pullback and then turn back over. So we'll watch and see where the dollar goes from here. Okay. Um, some quick looks on setups, things we covered over the weekend. This Aussie CAD daily time frame, right? Came down to the support level 88,941. We're pushing out of that buy zone now, right? Strong push to the upside, swing low forms. We're moving along. Okay. Moving along there. 8-6 retracement, matching the extension 94,712. Okay. So we'll watch this year. Joy made a good point on Saturday how we basically had a year of retracement for I believe it was this Aussie cat, but just continue to move to the downside, right? Um, So now looking to see as we get to these low prices, what happens and do we get a move back to the upside here? Okay. Coming down to the four, right? There our 80-20, September, move down. Okay. Now, sitting at the 8-6 retracement, got a nice swing low there. Looking to see if we get a cloud break here on the 4. We get a cloud break there. We got Kumo twist ahead, right? Do we get that break, that additional confirmation? We got that stochastic pushing down into the buy zone here on the 4. Do we get do we get price to break this cloud and give us that confirmation of that reversal and move to the upside, right? There's been patience on this one as we've gotten deeper and deeper into the zone here, right? But I'm looking to see if we get that shift, if we get some strength in this pair regarding the Aussie CAD. Been talked a lot about the state of Canada and the weakness there, but do we get that confirmation of the Aussie and a continued move to the upside here, right? And that reversal. As we come down to the 1, I want to come back here to this larger capital fib. I'll pull this out for a second. But 80-20 here, right? Push down into the zone, got a gap up after the new year, and you see prices rising to the upside here. Um, prices rising to the upside here, right? So beautiful 80-20 here on the 1, giving us that daily confirmation, a daily swing low. Cloud break on the 1, retest. Let's see if we get that continuation to the upside there. All right. So I'll put these fibs back on, right? And that's the look there as we map the fibs out in this move to the upside. Right. So we got a nice deep retracement here, retested the cloud. Now we're pushing back to the upside and we'll track these fibs long. 382 is at 93.87, right? But if we get there, we get to this 382 on the 1, that'll be that cloud break on the 4 that we needed for confirmation for the longer term move to the upside, right? So watching that development there on the Aussie CAD, but beautiful 80-20 here, start the new year, and we'll watch that move to the upside. Okay. Questions on the Aussie CAD? Nope. Joe, what you mean you hope they don't shut off our power?
The prime minister is using retaliation terms about the tariffs put on to Canada. So
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
he
Yeah.
threatened that if any tariffs come, that he'll shut off to the energy. And I'm like, Michigan first. That's bold. So
They do supply a decent amount of electricity to the United States. Yes. That's
yeah.
across those bordering states. So yeah, that'll be an interesting development. So we'll see where that goes and how things fare for the incoming president for sure. That'll definitely be interesting. Definitely be interesting. Appreciate that. No other questions there. Cool deal. So we'll track that over the long term, right? That could be a nice long-term play to the upside. Current prime minister is resigning. Okay. We'll dig into some of that coming out of Canada. The other one to take a
Oh,
look at
that
on the
too.
Aussie side
That he resigning, but he still made them threats.
was that Trudeau.
Yeah, true. TREA something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll take a look into that. I saw a flash on Bloomberg. I didn't dig into it yet though, but I'll take a look at that and we'll see how that impacts the market for sure and impacts their decisions moving forward. So yeah, we'll watch that for sure. Um, it's Aussie dollar, right? The dollar's in an interesting situation. Again, looking to see how things play out over the short term and the long term. um, we're at key levels, right? We come back to the monthly time frame here, right? We're sitting at this key level 61, 659. We've been here before. Okay. So I'm looking to see what happens here. Do we come back to the top of this range, or do we get a pullback and then a continuation down with the strengthening dollar? Okay, so we'll have to watch that to see what happens there. Okay, on the weekly time frame, see that a little bit more clearly there. We had that indecision in December, and now we're pushing back to the upside. All right, we're testing a previous support level currently. Okay, so want to see if we're able to break above the 759 range. Let's see that. 62,816, right? Are able to break above that level and continue moving higher here, right? So as we come down to the daily, we got an 80-20 scenario here. Okay. Pushing back to the upside. Stochastic is pushing out of that buy zone. Okay. So my question and what I'm looking to see is, do we get a pullback and a continuation here to get us to this 382 on the daily time frame? Right. But that will call for a lot to happen with the dollar. Okay. So I'm watching this level in this 80-20 here to see how this evolves and to see if we get some confirmation of that move to the upside. Okay. But got a nice swing low, right? As that stochastic was in that buy zone. Okay. We got a pullback as we got some consolidation there. And now we're pushing long. So are able to break above and continue moving higher. So I have that daily 80-20 on the Aussie dollar in mind. You come here to the 4 and you see the AB boundary move. And you see we're getting a cloud break here, right? Tried to break it here, came right back, took back that whole move. Now we're trying to get that cloud break again here. Okay, we got Kumo twist ahead. Do we see a pullback in a continuation? Okay. We'll see if we get a new set of fibs to pop in here as well. Okay. So watching that to see how it evolves. And then down on the 1, there's that move. Okay. So this one also have in mind, really looking to see, as Benny said, being patient, but looking to see what happens with the dollar over the next week to 2 weeks to see what kind of trend we could be getting ourselves into, and then looking for those additional confirmations on those moves in whatever that direction may be, right? But here, as we moved higher, we got to press down 786 level, right? Matching the extension on this sub fib to the upside on the 1 hour is 63,243. So are we able to make that happen? Okay. Are we able to make that happen on this Aussie dollar? So we'll watch that and see how it evolves. Okay. Questions on the Aussie dollar?
Nope.
All right. Cool deal. Pound Aussie. This one is interesting, right? This one is interesting. We on the daily time frame, we hit a D extension. Okay. We're looking to reset. Pulled back, testing previous resistance here. Got a nice push and we're pulling back. So Stochastic's still lower in the zone here. Okay. So looking to see if we get this continued move to the upside. We'll see. Right. Coming down to the 4, sitting in the zone here. Nice bullish action yesterday, and we're getting a retracement here. So are we able to get price to stay in this range and turn over and continue that move to the upside? Right. That bullish candle there, strong bullish action on the 4. Right. So I'm looking for a potential continuation to the upside here on this pound Aussie, matching the extension 206. So we'll watch and see how things, if things align from a fundamental perspective, but we could be in for that move long there. Okay. Reset this. So, stochastic on the 4 is higher in the zone. So maybe we come back down deeper and give a double bottom. So we'll watch and see how this develops throughout this week and see if we get price to stay above this what is that? 198 level. Okay. So and inside this AB boundary here on the 4. Okay, so we'll watch that and see how this evolves and see if we get that confirmation of that move to the upside. Okay. Cloud. I'll blow the cloud there as well. Okay. So that's on the 4, coming down to the 1. Run this fib off the low. That was a beautiful 80-20 there. Gave us a double bottom and then took off. So there we are there. Okay. 80-20 to a deep retracement. Now we're sitting lower in the zone. We'll see if we're able to get that move to the upside there. Okay. So that's the pound Aussie. Any questions? Could potentially come back to this lower range here. Lower parts of this range. So just be aware of that. No. All right. Cool deal. So while we're looking at the Aussie cross, look at the Euro Aussie. This one I ended up getting out of a while ago. But that move happened. Okay. Now we're pulling back, stochastic in the buy zone. We got a swing low formed here. Right. Giving us a higher low. We get price to continue moving long. And ultimately getting us to that matching extension of 172. Okay. So trying to make its way. We'll see if things align fundamentally, but got a swing low here on the daily, stochastic in the buy zone. Okay, coming down to the 4. Didn't quite get down to that 618 level. Okay, maybe there's another push down coming. We'll see, but trying to make that swing. And similar to that pound of odds, we got a nice bullish candle here, and we're pulling back. Right, stochastic here's in the sell zone, so we could see more downward pressure before potential move to the upside. So I want to watch and see if there's a deeper push into the zone here, or if this level holds. Or if this level holds here. Okay. So watching this one similar to that pound Aussie to see what happens and see if we get a continued move to the upside here. Finishing out the daily move and then also the 4-hour and the lower time frame moves as well. Okay. So watching that on the 4, watching this 164.873 level to see if it continues to hold and we get another push to the upside. Here on the 1, similar story to that 4-hour time frame, right? Beautiful 80-20 back down. Now do we get price to settle in and give us an opportunity to get back long, right? Broke the cloud, came back within. We got Kumo twist ahead, right? So we could give us some signs there of price preparing to continue that move to the upside there on the 1. Okay, so looking for this action here on this Euro Aussie. Any questions? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Cool deal. Appreciate it. And then I'm still sitting in this pound yen to the upside. Even with the job on and back and forth with your key representatives, we're still moving long. Okay. Still moving long. You got a nice retracement here, 618 level. So that V-shaped recovery that Benny talks about all the time, right? Boom. And then we got a nice little pullback. We'll look on lower time frame, giving us a little crown action. And we got a new lower high forming here. Boom. Right. Swing low, and we're pushing low. Right. So swing low forming, stochastic in the buy zone. Looking for that to continue moving to the upside. We'll check again at 209 and see where the Bank of Japan is in their conversations, but looking for this to continue moving to the upside overall. Okay, so that's on the daily. Come down to the 4, right? And you see this previous look. We talked about price pushing back into the zone, and we got that nice move down. And there's your recovery and that move back to the upside. Okay. Beautiful move there, beautiful trend line break. And then you see ABCD waves to the upside, right? So looking for this 4-hour fib to also finish out, and that's at 203. We'll get to 203, we'll get a nice reset, and then we'll look for price to continue moving along. Okay, so upside on the pound yen. And there's your cloud break on the 1 after the deep retracement and the continuation. Okay, so all signs point north on this pound yen. Um, just watching these yens continue. No changes there. No changes there. So just wanted to touch on that one. Nothing happening right now though. Ba, 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 ba. What's the other one? I'm curious. I'm curious about this U.S. dollar. I really am. Um, something noted just as I was going through my charts. This was an 80-20 that we watched for a long time to see when it was going to turn over, when it was going to start making its move back down, and it did. Right, it's from a weekly time frame perspective. It lingered in this range for a very long time, but ultimately made its way back down to that 382. Right. This is excuse me. And this is just to reiterate, no matter the time frame, no matter the asset class, price is going to move in these ABCD waves. And that 80-20 zone is a powerful one to play. All right. Um, but boom. So on the daily, we've got to that 382 level. We pushed down. Now we're turning over with that dollar retracement. Stochastic is down closer to the buy zone here. So I'm looking to see if we're able to get back into this range here at 107. Okay. Do we get a deeper retracement than your 382 and your 50%? And give us high prices to then potentially get back short. Right. So I'm just watching this one right now. To see what this move looks like and what happens with the dollar. Okay. Again, reiterating what Benny stated and what Benny was talking about. Okay. So coming here on the 4 AB boundary, you see we're in that retracement phase. Okay. So how deep does this retracement go? And then do we get price to turn over as we settle in deeper in the zone? Okay. Down on the 1. There's your capital fib there coming off the high. I'm going to flip this and just look at these moves off the low, and we'll track them to the upside until we're ready for a reversal. Okay. So that's the euro dollar. Nothing happening there, but like I said, just curious to see what happens overall with the dollar and these dollar crosses to see where things are headed. Okay. So watching to see how things develop there. Okay. Potential crown action here also. And we'll see if we get that action there to finish out and take out that high and continue moving north. Okay. Questions on the euro dollar? Yeah, yeah, Reese, I feel you. Um, Benny, did you have any other currencies top of mind? Those are the currencies that I had on my list for this morning.
I do not.
Okay. Team, do you have any other currencies that you want to take a look at before we move into stocks and ETFs? Aussie yen. Okay. Gold. Gotcha. Yeah, we'll look at some of those commodities too for sure. I got you. Um, Aussie yen, similar to that pound yen, dollar yen, CAD yen, all of them, right? This is on a monthly time frame. Okay. We're turning over. We got a swing low that formed there on the monthly. Okay. Had indecision to close the month of December, and we're pressing back to the upside now. So I'm looking for this one, just like the rest, to continue moving to the upside, potentially getting back to these higher levels, right? We'll see what happens here at this 102 range, um, 102.485, but I'm looking for this one to continue moving to the upside. Okay. Um, we'll see. 111 might be pushing a little bit, but we could. We definitely could, especially if the Bank of Japan, if we get to end of February, March, and the Bank of Japan is still sitting still, right? And just looking to use intervention to pull the market back, we could definitely see this get there. But I think that 111 mark might take a little bit more time. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's a monthly time frame. So let's come down to this daily before we get to the four, right? On the daily, got just shy of a 618 retracement, the daily support, right? 93,652. Um, and we're pushing long, right? Nice move up, got a nice retracement there. Okay. If you run your fib just off that C, right? You got a nice 618 retracement here. Okay, stochastic in the buy zone, pushing to the upside, right? New swing low form there. Looking for this one to continue moving long, right? 105, 111 is that sub fib D extension, the capital fib 104, 524. Okay, so initially this range here. Okay, initially that range there, and then we'll see. We could, I think 109 is realistic. As the dollar breaks that 160 level, I guess a 161, 162-ish, right? So I don't see this being out of bounds, getting back to this high double top type scenarios on this Aussie yen. Okay, so we'll watch that. Not bad. We'll watch that over the long term as well. See where that tracks, see if we get to those levels. But we come down here to the four. I want to bring this down. We'll bring that down as well. So we come down here to the four. Nice deep 618 retracement. And it's all lining up, right? That sub fib and the capital fib on the four, right? Lining up with those levels there. Okay. So beautiful scenario. Got your trend line break here. Stochastic is in the sell zone here on the four. So look for a pullback, but looking for pullbacks and continuations to the upside here on this Aussie yen. Okay. Pullbacks and continuations as we make our way to this 104, 105 range, and then potentially higher getting to this 109 area. Okay. So I'm long here as well. Long here as well. Drop the out on this one real quick. Yep. cloud break, came back, retest, take off, Kumo twist. Pullbacks and continuations to the upside is what I'm looking at there. Okay. Down to your one, same story. Same story. Nice deep retracement, 618 level, take off. Okay. All signs pointing north on this Aussie yen. So if you're not in this, you can track this off the 1 hour, wait for a nice pullback, and give you that continuation to the upside there. Okay. Questions on the Aussie yen? Oh, cool deal. All right, let's take a look at gold. Didn't quite get to that 382 level, 250, 25, 33. It came just shy of that 382 level. Let's go back one. Okay. Stochastic in the buy zone on the weekly, retesting previous daily levels. 80-20 on the weekly also. Let's see. Stochastic pushing back into that sell zone here. Seeing where we are right now, 80-20 didn't quite get to that 382 on the daily. Looking at this, I want to see a low price. Okay. I want to see a low price. All right. Got a nice retracement here, 2023. And then here over the summer. Right. So from May to June, got a nice retracement there to a 50% level. I want to see another retracement here, right? See if we can get back to this daily support level 2451. I would like to see that, right? You got stochastic pushing into that sell zone there on the daily, and you see your cloud pressing sideways here. So we could see more consolidation happen here. This is a nasty crown pattern, but crown pattern nonetheless. As we kind of stuck in that consolidation, as the market's trying to figure out what happens next, right? But we could be in for another leg to the downside here. Okay, so just over the long term, see if we get that move down, price to settle in, and then look for another run up to the upside, getting us to 3,000 potentially. Okay. Um, another thing that's interesting, and we talked about it a while ago, but in 2021, 2022, all your central banks started stockpiling gold, right? They started stockpiling gold in massive quantities. And that's what you've gotten. And that hasn't stopped, right? It hasn't stopped. So we're looking for pullbacks and continuations to the upside. Um, be able to stockpile gold on this side as well. So that's what I'm looking at. Definitely looking at looking for a low price on gold. So I would like to see price come back down here, complete this crown pattern, give us a nice deep retracement, and then look for it to settle in. So that's on the daily time frame. All that's on the daily time frame. Coming down to the 4, pull this out. right? So that gives us more, it gives me more confirmation here, right? Still got this 80-20 on the 4 hour. Okay. Price is still relatively high in this zone on the 4. So looking for price to move back down to the downside. We'll see if things align from a fundamental perspective. But looking for a move down and then giving us a low price to get back long. Okay, so we'll see if that 80-20 plays out for us on the daily and the 4. All right, and that's all if things align from a fundamental perspective. Okay. Oops. We'll save some time here on this one. So this is just the most recent fib here on the 1. So we'll see what happens here, right? Based on these fibs coming to the upside, right? We got a 618 retracement. So do we push higher and then come back down? Overall, I'm looking for price to move down over the long term, but how we get there, that's yet to be seen. We could stay in this consolidation. We saw in the daily time frame that cloud was still pressing sideways. Okay. You got an 80-20 on the 1. Where you got your fib running from, Jeremy?
From the low, the
So
618.
larger fib. Oh, from 618 off this here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens, right? Commence to some lower time frame resistance here. Okay. I dig it. It's a cloud break there too on the 1. Let's watch and see. Let's see how it develops, right? As we go through this week with the data set to come out this week and setting us up for next week. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Do we stall there and start that move to the downside? Appreciate that. Benny, what are your thoughts on gold, bro?
My bad, I was on mute.
Oh, all good.
Yeah, my bad. No, I don't know. That's my like,
Understood.
I mean, we see what it's doing now, right? It's
Exactly.
as long people are still stockpiling into it because anytime you get uncertainty, I think that's what's driving it now. That's
Yeah.
that's the safe place. So it could start move along, but we'll see what happens after January 20th. You know, it's just the, the market doesn't like uncertainty, and I think that's why it's getting that push now. I mean, even when you look at tariff policy, right? Like Trump talked about, a broad outlook on tariffs. Now it seems to be, now the speculation is like, well, they're leaning towards more being more specific, more targeted tariffs. So that causes it's a mess. So
Yeah.
so I think that's why you see, anytime you see, when there's a feeling of uncertainty in the market, investors, hey, I could park it in gold, so you see it moving to the upside. So I don't, that's what it's doing right now, today, you know, beginning of January. I don't know what that's gonna look like after January 20th, you know.
Facts.
Technically on that 1 hour, that's spot on to the upside with that cloud break.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you're just riding off technicals and you're just trading what you see right now, that's a long play. I mean, it's been that way off that, you know, that's a good that's a good ABCD way. That's playing that right now. It's trying to take out the highs right there. So you take out that high, you get a pullback, right? That may be a good play long. But I think that's where that momentum is coming from right now, just the uncertainty. So, which is usually positive for gold. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Cool deal.
yep.
Appreciate it. We'll see. We'll see. But that's gold. Jeremy said 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour off this range here, 80-20 to the downside. Yeah, so those are lining there. So let's see what happens here, right? And if you get that short-term pullback and continued uncertainty, right, and continued momentum to the upside off that 1 hour, right, that could give you get your retracement there, crown pound,
I
right?
noticed
So if you get
gold
to the
started.
downside, we'll see.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I noticed gold started stalling when they started talking about the mortgage rates when they started going back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I had put it in there. I don't know if you've seen, but they are waiting on Trump to get in office because of the inflationary concerns. So with the interest and the yields and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. It makes sense. Definitely makes sense, right? And so we could see in some of these scenarios a month of sideways movement, right? And that's okay too, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But that's gold. Okay. We got a few minutes left. Take a look at this is the one that I was looking at overall. Initially. So on the daily time frame, right? So candlesticks lower in the zone, right? Trying to push back down into that buy zone. We got a double bottom here, retesting that B boundary. Yesterday we got a gap up. So looking to see what happens here. It's an 80-20 on the daily time frame. Okay. We got resistance here. Do we stay range bound here? Get somewhat of a crown pattern here, and then move back down before we move north. Right. As Benny talked about, just kind of some of the uncertainty and what could happen. The VTI tracks the total stock market. Could we be preparing for retracements in the market? All right. So watching this closely, as we sit in this consolidation in this 118, 127 zone, see if we stay below this 302.95. If we do, um, if we're not able to break above this level, I have a long position on this. I'll start paring down that long position and looking for that low price. So watching this range here to see what happens. Okay, see what happens overall as we move through the month. Right. Coming down to the 4. Maybe. There we go. Similar story. Right. Hanging on that 118 127 zone. You got a double bottom here. Okay. Retested that B boundary on the daily and on the 4, pressing to the upside. So how high does this go? You still got your cloud bearish ahead with some consolidation, right? So do we get another push to the upside kind of stay within this range, and then come back down. Okay. So watching this development here. So we'll see it this week, next week, and see if we get this right shoulder to form. Okay. We might open up today, come back and close this gap, but then look to see if we get another push to the upside. Okay, so that's on the 4, 80-20 on the daily, 80-20 on the 4. Come down to the 1. Taken out. Was a 80-20. We got to the 382. And we have a cloud break. All right. So you see price kind of moving, or the cloud moving through price initially. So we'll see what happens here. Right. Don't have the same confirmation on the 4. I mean, on the 1 hour, but let's watch and see. So overall, we are moving sideways. So we'll see if that sideways action continues after another push to the upside, or are we able to take out 302? Okay. Too high. There. Right. So how do we develop it? So I'm watching this closely here to see how this evolves over the next 10 to 15 days and see what happens, right? And see if we top out and come back down. So that's one that I got top of mind. Questions on BTI? We'll wrap it up there. Okay, I won't be able to take a look at that right now. Got to get the kid ready for school, but I'll take a look at it this afternoon, and then we'll talk about it in the morning. I'll be one of the first to look at nat gas. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir, man. Other than, just continue to be patient. It is the beginning of the year. Just wait. Don't get caught running from behind the rest of the year. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Patience pays, good people. All right, you guys have a phenomenal day, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. We'll see you in the community. Peace.
Thank you.